welcome. Laura Lindwall here. This is my very first taping of a series I'm excited to begin filming. It's real life stories with Laura Lindwall, my take on my years of being able to share my story of No More Pockets and wanting to be able to allow other people to have their stage, to share their story about their past and what has brought them to where they are now, whether it be in their career or just a statement as to how they're going to live their life. REAL is an acronym, for me at least, that I want to express before we get going. It stands for Reveal, Embrace, and Live Your Truth. Reveal, embrace, and live your life. Several takes on it, but primarily it's that about being authentic. So that being said, my very first episode, my very first taping today is with Tracey Janowitz of Sweaty Swag. She is founder, creator, president, CEO, all of the above, and Tracey was introduced to me through Corey Lusk here where I'm taping of CalVision Studios. I want to thank him for his patience in helping me begin to share my story. That being said, I want to turn this over now to a conversation and getting to know Tracey and allowing her to share her story and her message with all of you here. Welcome, Tracey.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, Laura.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Corey was so excited when he sent me the email saying, I've got someone you can meet. I think she'd be a great interview for you because we both have a passion and a background for fitness. Tracey has expanded hers and I believe into Sweaty Swag.
Absolutely.
How did that come about?
So Sweaty Swag, when you first hear it, hopefully it kind of sticks. If you know nothing else about me, about the brand, it's just kind of one of those names that I created to make people remember what the brand's all about. So Sweaty Swag, I sweat for a living. So I knew that when I created the brand, I wanted people to know that the sweat was part of it. So you get an idea that maybe it's workout clothes. And then I threw the swag in it because who doesn't like to find their swag? So for me, the vehicle was clothing. So I have a background in fashion. I graduated with a fashion merchandising degree and a business management degree from Dominican University. For those that are local in the area, it's in River Forest. And Sweaty Swag was created just over 3 years ago. And I knew that if I was going to sell clothing, and I wanted it to be a vehicle to move my message. And that message is my tagline. And that tag is Life is Sweaty. And it's how we work it out that matters. So it's more than just an athletic line, though. It's truly about that sweat in our lives. And the physical sweat to me is very close to that mental, emotional sweat that we experience as well. So I wanted Sweaty Swag to represent and speak to those women that sweat for a living or for recreation or for getting through a hard time in their period or their season of life. But it was more about just that emotional sweat in our lives. It was about creating more opportunities to empower women to just run more in the direction of what makes them sweat every single day. That's what Sweaty Swag is all about.
I love that. I love the thing about run towards what makes you sweat every day. It's like, I get it completely in my past history of my story. You had said earlier when we came in and we were talking, you said, I can't believe if you would have told me this is how I would have ended up.
Absolutely.
I never would have believed it.
Awesome.
So what's that about?
So I've got a little bit of a story. I know that Corey that's filming, right? That was our connection, right? My brand is also a lot about connection. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to pass that might play a part in your life, and whether it's for a day, a moment, or a season, or for the rest of your life. So my husband, I talk about a lot in the brand because we also co-own Patriot Sports and Fitness in Elmhurst. So we're entrepreneurs going on 10 years. So we're celebrating 10 years at our gym in Elmhurst. But before I met my husband, I worked for Nordstrom. I was a manager at Nordstrom in Oak Brook and Schaumburg for 10 years. So if you would have ever said that I would have ended up in fitness and we would have opened our own business and I would have started a clothing line, I would have said, you're crazy, you're nuts. So that's kind of where the story began. I met my husband, we moved in 3 weeks later, we got engaged 6 months later, We got married that following August. I got pregnant on my wedding night. We opened our gym within 6 months of that. So I met, moved in, we got married, I got pregnant. We bought a house, had a baby, opened our business, and I turned 30 all in the same year. So it was a lot of really great things happening in my life, right? It was a lot of different identities. And I stepped down away from Nordstrom when I got pregnant. And then we took this, I think it was, we were naive and ignorant and we were young and didn't know any better. And so we started our business. My husband's a professional MMA fighter. He's got a wrestling background, military guy, and that's how we started the gym. And so with all of those things, and that same year, my mom got diagnosed with lung cancer. So all of these really amazing things that were happening, becoming a wife, becoming a mother, opening a business, buying a house, like these really great pivotal things in my life. And on top of all that, my mom got diagnosed with lung cancer. So it was kind of just one of those things where life doesn't slow down. Mm-hmm. And even though Sweaty Swag's only 3 years old, really it started going on 10 years because I ended up losing my mom that same year. So it was a lot. We had one car. I had just turned 30, became a new mom. I lost my mom. I didn't really have a support system. My mom was at Northwestern. We had one car, but yet we had a business. So it wasn't like we could close the doors because everything we had went to that business. So I struggled a lot during that time and I still struggle. And so you'll see my mother plays a big part in the brand and why I do what I do. And so my sweat is different than your sweat, but we all experience it. And I wanted to give an outlet for women to, as you're doing with me today, to share their stories. And those are the things we share, are the things where we overcome and being vulnerable and being transparent. And I found that in the 3 years of doing Sweaty Swag, that's where women connect to me and will say, oh my gosh, like, absolutely, so it's been an awesome ride for me. And I learn, and it's an uphill battle, owning a small business, especially in fitness and running a gym, and in clothing. I got into two really competitive businesses. And so a big part of how I run my business is how women like you and me connect to the brand. You can buy a shirt anywhere. Why are you going to buy Sweaty Swag? Well, it's that connection that you immediately have with it. Life is sweaty, work it out. Your story is different than my story, but I think even in that 5 seconds, you can immediately connect to that. And I think that's powerful. So yeah.
And you support a lot of causes too.
Absolutely.
I was reading on your website.
Yeah. So a big part of the brand, I said my mother is fluent through the whole brand, and it's just a big inspiration of why I do what I do. So on the 21st, we share kindness.
Yes,
it's
I love that.
Our kindness initiative. And, it's my brand, my story. I could do what I want, I guess, in some of that. But I wanted women and young women and even men. My husband will do some of these things with us. Some of our bigger acts have included a lot more young men and all ages that experience this with us. And it's not about not being kind on days that don't end in 21, but it is more about knowing that, hey, sometimes we don't know. We know to be nice and we know to be kind. And I'm a mom and I have young kids. So that's always something that we speak to. Their teachers speak to it, to be good and not to do this. But sometimes it's hard and we don't know what that looks like. And for Sweaty Swag, the kindness is not necessarily about opening up your checkbook and writing a check to your favorite charity. And that's one way to give. And that's amazing if you have the opportunity to be able to give monetarily.
Right.
But for me, my brand's for everyday people. It's inspired by the everyday women. It's about doing everyday things like this, like the connection that we have sharing this today, the connection that maybe I can have through the camera, and inspiring people to wake up on the 21st with the intention of going out and sharing kindness. And however that weighs on your heart for that month. Maybe it's just the eye contact. Maybe it's holding the door for someone. Maybe it's having a conversation with someone that you maybe never would have spoke to before, being the first to speak and sharing a smile. That's the kindness that we do. And on the 21st, so knowing that, Laura, if you wake up on the 21st and you say, okay, well, let me try this. That there's a tribe behind you, which is the Sweaty Swag community, that is also sharing kindness on the 21st. So that's a little bit into that initiative. And when you support the brand and you purchase a shirt, you're also supporting that mission of just putting that good energy out into the world.
What's with the 21st? Anything with that?
Yeah, so it was my mom's birthday. August 21st. My son's birthday is May 21st. So I just thought 21 was important to me. And I built a brand on emotion. You know, I know what, I understand my brand, my demographic, and I really feel that I'll help draw you to the purpose of why I do it. Like, well, this is why I share on the 21st. And this is why it's important to me. And if you support the brand, maybe that's a number that also becomes important to you. And then it shows me that my mom's still alive and lives, and, you know, through those acts. So
it's nice because it's just tying the whole message together, right?
Absolutely.
Of the importance of your mom's effect in your life.